Hi, this is Charlie Green, co-author of The Trusted Advisor, here to talk a little bit more about the trust equation. The trust equation, really the trustworthiness equation, is credibility plus reliability plus intimacy, all divided by self-orientation. I'm going to focus here on the denominator in that equation, self-orientation, and how you can improve your score in this component. Because it is in the denominator of the equation, high self-orientation significantly drives trustworthiness down, and improving our self-orientation, that is, lowering it, is perhaps the most difficult of all the trust equation components. What's at stake here is people's perception that you care or don't care. We make judgments about a person caring primarily based on whether the person is paying attention to us. If we feel someone is not paying attention to us, we conclude that they don't care. And guess what? We're usually right about that. Thinking about self-orientation reminds us that, above all, trust is a relationship, in the same sense that friendship, for example, is a relationship. You cannot have a relationship by yourself. It must involve someone else. You can't trust without a partner. However, it's very easy to lose sight of that fact when it comes to trust. When we are in real-time contact with another person, conversations, interviews, meetings, we are constantly going back and forth in our minds between our inner thoughts and directly connecting with the person in front of us. On the one hand, we have to be extremely open to the other person, to fully understand them and where they are coming from. On the other hand, we have to maintain our own sense of self, if only to continue the conversation in a way we believe helpful. It's a balancing act. You can't melt entirely into the other person's worldview and psyche. At the same time, you can't mechanically interact with the other person as if they were a machine. So, how do you stay authentically you, while at the same time open to making connections? If that all sounds theoretical and fluffy, let's make it very practical. It amounts to how you pay full attention to another person. Here are 6 practical things you can do to lower your self-orientation. 1. Always be curious. Get in the habit of asking questions, particularly open-ended questions. Write some down in advance for starters. 2. Lead with calm. Take a minute before a meeting to relax, breathe deeply, and clear your mind. Don't walk into the meeting focused on remembering detailed agenda items. 3. Share your agenda. Do so in advance of the meeting where possible, and do it again at the very start of your meeting, and ask whether the agenda and intended outcomes are still appropriate. 4. Practice thinking out loud. Do this by simply saying, "I'm just thinking out loud here," and then do your thinking along with the other person. 5. Get in the habit of answering questions in 90 seconds or less. At the end of your answer, say something like, "Is this making sense?" The purpose of that statement is to ask for a recommitment to the conversation on the part of the other person. 6. Check time contracts within the conversation. Say something like, "I see we got 15 minutes left in our scheduled time. Is this going okay? Do we need to reshift our agenda, or are we still on track?" Again, the purpose is to re-engage the commitment to the conversation. The best way to lower your self-orientation is to make people think you care about them. And the best way to do that is by actually caring about them. And that starts with paying undivided attention to them.